My name's Logan. I live in Montana. I'm a student there, studying biochemistry. The hopes of going to medical school in a year or two. So I really don't have any teaching background to speak of, other than that I've gained in the last 2 months. Other than that, just kind of helping my friends out at school and them helping me with problems at school is the only thing that I've really done before. And now, like then, as I said, like a week before, I got really excited to come just because of a new place, but I still wasn't really sure how I was going to fit into the whole teaching thing. And so I guess kind of what I found is it was more about just being like a positive figure for the students more than anything, because it seems like a lot of them here don't really have like a big, their parents sometimes are a little like distant, or some of the communal problems make it so they don't have kind of the positive infrastructure that a lot of us have growing up back at home. So it wasn't so much how much I could actually like give to them as far as my knowledge and teaching experience, but it was just kind of being somebody there to work with the kids one-on-one that was kind of a different phase from their normal teaching routine, that was just being like a supportive figure. And I could see even just a change in the students that I worked with even after just a couple days. Just them getting more familiar with us, I think gave them a lot of confidence, and just stuff like that. So, and then with myself, I noticed, I guess I haven't really noticed yet, but other people have told me about just seeing how I've changed, and I think I've become a little more confident, because this is completely foreign to me, so I think seeing that I could come in and do something that I was kind of scared about, not having any experience with it, and then seeing my results being so successful and seeing some of the kids change, especially with reading. Some of the kids were kind of stuttering and stammering and having a hard time, and just sitting there telling them, you can do this, just go slow, just sound out the word, and just kind of working it through them and just giving them a couple little tips, and seeing how just my little bit of experience could help them become so much better readers, even after just like 3 weeks of reading with them, was pretty amazing. Some of my highlights. I guess first of all, we started in Masti Pumalele, or Site 5, with the Careers in Daba, and that was kind of not really a careers fair, but more, just kind of helping them think about the future and applying to colleges and what they might want to do, and the different options of different types of universities and colleges and skills schools, and then some of the different careers that are out there, like accounting or engineering or midwifery, what have you. Just all these speakers coming in and just kind of helping the learners to just open their minds to what they can do and what's out there. And that there's so many options for them, even if they don't think that university is right for them, there's still another option that they can do, so they should keep trying and not give up, and just being a positive influence to them. And so we got to work, we had groups of 3 students or learners that we were working with, and with me, it was me and one other volunteer that was working with 3 kids, so that was a pretty good ratio. And seeing like the first time we met with our kids, they were really shy. Like 2 of them, we couldn't even get to say a word. Like one of them wouldn't say anything the first time, and the other one, all she'd do was nod and say yeah once in a while when we'd, directly like try to engage her and be like, "What do you think, Riella?" And then it was really hard to get anything out of her. And then just seeing her yesterday at our kind of farewell to all those students, like having her come up to me and be like, "Hi Logan, how are you?" and like start talking to me. At first I was like, wait a minute, who is this? I was like, this looks like, is this really Briella? Like she's actually like coming up and talking to me, whereas before I could hardly get a word out of her. It was pretty amazing to me. I guess it was partially getting over like the shyness boundary, but also, it seemed like she was a lot more confident, at least with us. And then just working with them with like the careers and getting them to open up about what they really wanted to do, and seeing how smart these kids really were, in an area that had so little. When you go in, it's just tin shacks and there's litter everywhere. And to me, like at first, like I'd never seen anything like that. Even in some of the bigger cities, it was, the bigger cities are paradises compared to, like the slums of the big cities are paradises compared to some of these places, it seems like. And then just seeing how like proud these kids are of where they are and how much like confidence that they actually do have It was really cool to see. So it's kind of seeing like how much it's all about like how you think of yourself and more than where you come from or how much money your parents have. And then some of the other highlights was going to Ocean View. We worked at Marine Primary, and that was a completely different experience because the Careers in Dabo was just more of like a holiday program for the students over their winter break, I guess. So we went in there and we were supposed to be like working with teachers in the classes, supposedly like teaching. And so with my background, I wanted to teach some math or science, and kind of the way the school was set up, it didn't really seem like there was much option to really get in there and teach. And kind of the teachers recognized that me and some of the other students were kind of feeling that our time there wasn't being used to the fullest, so they saw that and helped us. They pointed us in a direction to this Help to Read program, and they got us into this little program. We went and did a one-day, I guess, orientation kind of training session for this program, and then we came back to the schools and were able to work one-on-one with students for half-an-hour sessions. And we just one-on-one for the first half of the day, just one-on-one, read with them, and then I worked with I think about 12 learners overall for about a month. And so like every other day I'd take a different group, like one student, and then rotate through. And that was really cool, like actually getting to know some of the kids outside of the class, and seeing them like actually be excited. Like you'd go in and the teachers gave me a list of like the students who were a little lacking in their reading skills and comprehension skills and that needed one-on-one help. And going into the classes, I'd walk in after the second day, like I only had time to take a certain amount, like the 6 students, and then like the next day I'd come in, I'd come in to take like the student I had before, and everybody would just raise their hand like take me, and they all wanted to come. And so it's like I wish we had more time to do that with everybody and kind of be able to see on our own. It would have been nice to be able to like work with everybody and see who really needs help, but I guess we worked with who the teachers saw. But I mean, it's just not enough time to really get with everybody, which would have been nice. But it was just really cool seeing some of the kids, and you really got to connect with some of them, and they wanted to like show you around, and one of them wanted to take me to his house and show me around his little town that he lived in. And it was really cool. And most of them are actually really good learners. They're readers, and they just needed a little bit of help to kind of boost their confidence, because some of them just, when the first time I called them, or even the second time, I walked into the room and I pointed at one and was like, come on. And she's like, did one of these, like, I don't want to go. And so by the end, and the first time I took this one student, she didn't even want to read. She just we just walked around and kind of had a little chat and tried to get her comfortable with reading. And kind of the whole program, this Help to Read program, was just kind of the student gets to run it, basically. Like, we're kind of there to just facilitate. But it was just cool that the learner, like if they didn't want to read that day, the first day, we just kind of encourage them, but if they didn't really want to, then it was just up to them. And then so we just would give little pushes, like, you can do it, come on, it's not that scary, or there's nothing to be scared of, it's just reading. And it was just cool to see them eventually like get comfortable with it, and actually, like, this one student by the end actually wanted to read books rather than being afraid of reading, which was just cool to see. Well, I think just to be prepared, just have an open mind. You don't need to be a teacher to come on this. Like I said, I had no previous teaching experience. Just have an open mind and be prepared for anything. I mean, for me, I'm kind of a laid-back person, but there is this thing they call Africa time here, which is it's just like everything here is really laid back, and people aren't always on time. They'll say we'll be here, or this will happen at 8:30 to come pick you up or whatever, and then it'll be like 10-15 minutes later. That's just how it works. And if you show up late to class or something, or a little late, nobody really says anything. I mean, you try to be on time, but sometimes you're a little bit late, and that's just kind of how the community works. And like it's not like a strict, like, regimented structure like some people might come from in big cities. Yeah, they have now, right now, there's now, and just now. And so right now is like right now, and then there's now, which is kind of almost right now, but not quite. And then just now is like later, but sometime in the near future. You'll get it when you get here, but it's very confusing at first. And I don't know if I still fully get it. I mean, I don't know, Peter, do I? Sort of?
I don't know if anybody gets it, but
I don't know if you get it.
You kind of just go with the flow.
You just go with the flow, because I saw some people here, even after like a month and a half of being here, and we're only here for 2 months, that would still get really frustrated with the fact that we'd go and we'd all go wait to get picked up at the farm to get dropped off wherever. And some people were like, "Oh, they're still not here. What's going on?" It's like, just relax, it's fine. It's no big deal. Just hang out. And that's kind of what it's about. You just come and you just hang out with the kids and just do what you can, make the best of it. The program was amazing. I really can't imagine anything going better. I mean, everything was great. We had people come to pick us up and shuttle around, and the coordinators, the Fentons, were awesome. They just kind of showed us around and pointed us where to go for, obviously for the school times. They were there bringing us and kind of telling us what to expect. They gave us a pretty good kind of intro orientation. We kind of had limited time because of the World Cup this year. But the short time that we had, I think, was pretty good with preparing us for kind of some of the cultural and, just the big problems in this country that you need to recognize and sort of understand before you can really, fully immerse yourself in the culture. Because if you don't know what's going on, it's going to be really confusing and shocking. And they gave us a really good understanding of that. And then even they were really good about, on weekends when we wanted to go do things. They were good about pointing us in the right direction, so we weren't stuck with just doing like the obvious touristy things. So I feel like we had a really good immersion into the culture and met some good locals. And I think for the most part we stayed away from a lot of the just main touristy attractions that kind of wouldn't give you the same experience as you would otherwise. So I kind of feel like that I am sort of not really a local, but more than just a tourist, which is cool. One thing I do have to say is that, I was coming here a little nervous and scared of going on this big 2-month trip with 20 to 30 people that I didn't know, and I had no idea what to expect. I mean, I've never really gone on, other than going away to college, I've never gone to something where I would just be like thrown into it, just have to figure it out and mingle with all these people I didn't know. And for the most part, everybody was, not for the most part, everybody was amazing. And I don't know why I thought any different. People who were coming to volunteer obviously are really good people. So I thought that was really cool that everybody here I'm like really good friends with.